Hey, Steve, I'm sorry if you were asked this already, but do you see any fatigue from Kyrie and Kevin in the series, or particularly tonight?
I mean, they've both got to be tired. I mean, Kyrie's fasting, and Kevin's had to play 40-plus minutes for 5-6 weeks after missing 6-7 weeks. You know, we need him to play 40 minutes, or we wouldn't be in the playoffs, or at least we'd be in 10th in the play-in. So I'm sure that's taken a big toll on Kevin. He's carried a huge burden for us for weeks on end. Kyrie as well, since he's been playing home and on the road. And fasting is, I think it can't be easy. If I go play tennis and I haven't eaten, I feel like I'm going to fall over. So I can't imagine how he feels in an NBA playoff game. So I commend how hard he plays, considering, and how much minutes they've both had to endure for us just to be in this position with all the injuries we've had this year and all the interruptions. So I feel for him. I feel for those guys.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, thank you.
Let's take a look at the Jays versus KD and Kyrie in this series. Jason Tatum averaging almost 30 points per game, while Jaylen Brown averaging almost 23 points per game. Kevin Durant with 22 and Kyrie Irving with almost 22. And look at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, a plus 17 on the floor for Jason Tatum and a plus 14 for Jaylen Brown, a minus 25 for Kevin Durant and minus 6 for Kyrie Irving. Full house here, no pun intended. Eddie House, Chris Forsberg, Amina Smith, Kendrick Perkins here with me as well. And Forsberg, I'll start with you. Just listening to Steve Nash talk about.
Did you hear my side?
I did hear your side when Steve Nash was talking about how tired Kyrie is and how tired KD is. Your reaction after hearing that?
So first off, I'm pretty sure Jaylen Brown is also fasting during this Ramadan and doesn't seem to be affecting him in the fourth quarter when he's going out there and consistently scoring double digits and helping the team get to the finish line. And Jason Tatum has played about 40 minutes per game for most of the season and has had to carry a huge load and didn't get a lot of downtime until the final 2 weeks of the season. And hey, maybe if Kyrie had actually played some games early in the year, you wouldn't have had to need the push just to get into the first playing game and get into the 7th seed. So I'd please like the Nets to limit the excuses, and maybe just Steve Nash is trying to take some heat off his players, but come on. I could not stop eye-rolling that last answer.
Yeah, Eddie, I was telling you during the break, if I'm KD, I would be completely frustrated with this entire situation with Kyrie and Steve Nash and the lack of coaching. Just what are you taking away from what Steve Nash had to say at the podium?
I don't want to hear it. That's what I take away. I do not want to hear any excuses. This is playoff basketball. You got a chance to do something very special, go down in the history books. You can't be tired, and if you're tired, you're not in great shape. And like you said, Forsberg, at the end of the day, Jaylen Brown, he's fasted. I know Akeem Olajuwon, he fasted. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, he fasted. None of those guys had any excuses when they went out there and played. They just went out there and got the job done. So stop making these excuses. Don't want to hear it. It fed up. I know he knows his job is on the line, so he got to try to do something to get his players. I think the players didn't quit on him, and he's trying to get them back on his good side. Believe that.
Perk, it kind of felt like listening to Kyrie at the podium, like he's kind of checked out. I mean, it felt like there was no fire under him with them being down 3-0 in this series. What did you take away from hearing Kyrie and Steve Nash?
That when James Harden wanted out of Brooklyn, we all should have been warned by that, right? Here's the thing. The only thing that come from the Brooklyn Nets is a whole lot of excuses. It's so many things that are up in the air. I'm trying to figure out how Ben Simmons passed a physical when he had a hurt back. I'm trying to figure out why they go to war so much for Kyrie Irving, and he causes, he has all these problems. He misses work. And, the vaccination is one thing, but now he's fasting, and now all of a sudden they're both tired. They're playing 40-plus minutes a night. And then, you know what else is crazy to me? All I was hearing was how the Brooklyn Nets won the James Harden trade. That's all I was hearing. Oh, they got Steph Curry. They got Andre Drummond. They won the trade. They got a pick. And now we're here. We're here. At this point, why even fight to get into the play-in tournament, to even fight to get into the postseason, to go against the Celtics if you knew you was going to come out with all these excuses? And to Kevin Durant's defense, something looks off with him. I know the Celtics are being physical with him right now, But I could just imagine that he's probably emotionally drained from dealing with everything he had to deal with since the time he arrived in Brooklyn. Think about it. They gave up Jared Allen and Karis LeVert to get James Harden. All of a sudden, James Harden gets there. All three of these guys were supposed to sign a contract extension before the season started, and then Kyrie took his stance on the vaccination. Then James wanted out, so they traded James for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was supposed to come in. He was supposed to, get through his mental health issues, and all of a sudden he hurt his back. How do you hurt your back when you're not playing? I don't know. And now you come to this point when you're in the postseason, when you can't rely on your coach, but you need Kyrie Irving, and he's low of energy because he's fast. So, don't you think Kevin Durant at this point is, mentally drained?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what it looks like.
He done.
I would be.
He done.
He has absolutely thrown his
He signed
hands
up for this. He was the one who wanted Kyrie.
But I think he probably just didn't realize that all this would come
Right.
with bringing Kyrie in.
If only there had been some history.
He didn't know James was going to come in
only.
out of shape. He didn't know Kyrie was not going to get
Jeez.
vaccinated. Like you said, when they made the trade, Ben Simmons over here hurt. I mean, I would be totally upset because at the end of the day, right, you come in and you have this grand plan and it never comes to fruition. It is not because of anything you've done.
Yep.
And you the best player out of all of them. If anybody should have any excuses, it should be KD or anything that you could, it should be him that should be talking right now saying, not making any excuses, saying, hey, man, where was y'all at?
Yeah.
Because I've been here all year.
Well, speaking of KD, he's at the podium right now. Let's take a listen in.
Kevin, what stands out as most frustrating, disappointing, whatever word you want to use in terms of how this series has played out to this point?
We're having a little technical difficulty.
Hey, but did you see that lean back?
I saw that screenshot right there. I was like, you know what? That's a mood. That's exactly how KD feels right now.
As soon as they asked the question, he got that long lean back. It's weighing on him, man, and I feel bad for him because he is too great of a player to have to go through all this and endure all this all season long and then be put in this situation to where it looked like the team quit on the team. He really doesn't go on the coach. I don't think that he trusts the coach any longer. He doesn't trust his teammates any longer, and I just think he's in a bad situation. I think he just signed an extension, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he did. But listen, we can't feel bad for Kevin Durant because the reason he's in this position is because he put himself in this position. He the one that chose Steve Nash when he could have went got a Ty Lue. He the one that didn't want to hold Kyrie accountable since the time they signed with the Brooklyn Nets. So, look, that organization moves by the beat of Kevin Durant drum. Matter of fact, if Kevin Durant don't push the button, James Harden don't get traded. So at the end of the day, I can understand why Kevin Durant is mentally exhausted, but I can't sit up here and say that I feel bad for him because he was part of every decision that this organization has made. So at the end of the day, you made this bed, you have to lay in it.